Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How is everyone doing? How you all holding up? I am tired as hell. I am so tired right now. I genuinely feel like I am a walking zombie. I am exhausted in every way imaginable, mentally and physically. But I am here. I am up. I am ready to, I don't know about ready to start the day, but I'm starting it. I'm starting the day, regardless if I am ready for it or not. So I'm hoping you guys are doing the same. I mean, I'm not hoping that you're mentally or physically tired, but I'm hoping that whatever's going on, if you have stressors, if you have things that are kind of bringing you down, all we can do is get up in the morning and do what we can. I mean, there are people suffering and there are people going through such hardships. Sorry, that is my dog. I gave him the wrong ball. Let's not do that, Puck. Sorry, there are a lot of things that I won't edit out, but a squeaking ball is probably something you guys do not want to listen to for this entire episode, just a squeaking ball. I didn't want the squeaker. But anyway, there are people going through so much. There are people who have lost their homes in the Washington and Oregon in fires in general, no matter where the fires are. There are people that are homeless now. Maybe they've lost a pet. Maybe they've lost a loved one, and that is horrible, especially considering that an arsonist caused one or two of I know for sure one, there's one in Spokane that an arsonist caused. He had already unalived his father, and then he set Spokane on fire. Now, I'm sorry. This is going to be a really unpopular thing for me to say, but that's never stopped me. I made some pretty graphic, vulgar comments on my last episode. I said some things that people are probably like, oh my God, I am not listening to this person again because that was graphic, that was vulgar. And I got to tell you, I didn't threaten anyone's life. And sometimes when someone is grieving so much and they have been incredibly stressed out, again, these are not excuses because I'm not apologizing for what I said because I didn't threaten anyone's lives. I'm not threatening violence. I'm not threatening to unalive people. I'm not threatening to censor people. I'm not threatening to take away people's rights. I was not doing any of that. But I got a little graphic because when people are incredibly passionate and sad and angry and frustrated and tired of how things have been for 10 years, it starts to weigh on any human. I don't know that there are a lot of humans out there that can go through stress after stress after stress and have their lives threatened simply because of loving America, wanting women and Americans to be safe, simply because we want truth and facts, not claims and accusations, not biased, misleading information. When you're called names for 10 years, names that aren't even accurate, you're calling people names and you don't know the definition of what you're saying, but it all gets old. And when your mom has died needlessly, when there was no reason for her to die, she was septic, which means she didn't get the care that she needed to treat her illness. So her illness got so bad, it went untreated for so long that she became septic. I'm sorry, I'm going to have a problem with that. I'm going to be angry about it. I'm going to be sad about it. I'm going to be frustrated. I'm going to be pissed. But again, in all of that anger and sadness and being pissed, I didn't threaten people's lives. I didn't threaten to censor people. I didn't threaten to dox people. I did not threaten to take away the rights of people. I just got graphic about what I thought of people. And you can disagree with that because, I mean, I admit I got a little spicy. I got a little graphic. I got pretty heated. I'm not going to apologize because I'm not sorry. But again, I will not get on here and dox people and threaten their lives and, all of that. Now, technically, I did threaten violence on Fauci, but not really, because what I said was, since he likes to use dogs, his favorite thing is to use dogs and animals to test all of his crap on. Since he's the one that has deemed it safe, and he doesn't think that he's doing anything remotely morally or ethically wrong whatsoever. He's the one, Dr. Fauci is the one that does not think that testing on animals is bad. He has no problems testing animals on animals. He has no moral or ethical issues with it whatsoever. So what I said was, what should happen to Fauci, given that he is a murderer, he is a mass murderer, he's a serial killer, he, in my opinion, should not be put to death. I think that's too easy. It's an easy way out. And I don't think he should go to prison. I think he should be used as a lab testing dummy. He should be used to test all of the things that he claimed are safe. He felt that there was nothing wrong with using animals to test on. And he felt that everything that he injected and used on those animals was great, had no problem with it. So let's let go of all the animals and let's put Fauci and all of our serial killers. We can use them. And maybe all of our schmedos, we can use them because we need people. If we're using things on humans, then we need to test on humans. And obviously people have a moral problem with that, but they have no fucking problem using innocent animals. I'm sorry, I have a gigantic problem. Number one, we're not animals, so I don't know why we're testing anything on animals because we're not animals. So we should test on people, but people are like, whoa, now that's cruel. Oh, okay, but testing on animals isn't? I don't think it's cruel at all to test on a serial killer because you're going to put them to death anyway. So if you believe in the death penalty, why are we keeping them around, holding up a bunch of room in prison cells and paying our taxes to keeping them on death row for years? Why are we feeding them and keeping them on death row for years? If they have been found guilty, if they've already been found guilty. Now, I know there are innocent people in prison. I know that for sure. And I feel horrible for the innocent people. And I know they'll try to keep them on there so people can appeal and try to prove their innocence. But if we know that someone like Ted Bundy, for example, and these serial killers who we know did these crimes, I'm sorry, I have zero issue whatsoever with taking them out of prison, off of death row, and putting them into laboratories. Because if you can work on animals and have no fucking qualms about it, let's use actual humans since we're human and then we know what's going to interact or not with us. So I've said stuff like that is my point. I have said things like that. So if you want to consider that threatening violence or threatening harm on people, then that's the same thing as saying someone should have the death penalty. I'm saying spare their lives. Use them as test dummies. Because let me tell you, I'm sure that the way that they unalived their victims probably wasn't comfortable. It probably wasn't comfortable. They were probably in pain. They were probably being tortured. It was probably not a quick death. So why are we giving quick deaths to people that torture others? Sorry, that's the side I'm on. That's probably incredibly controversial. However, I'm also on the same side as if you're going to put people in prison, if you're going to sentence people, and I'm only talking, by the way, using people as lab rats if they're like actual convicted and we know that they are serial killers or schmedos. I'm not talking someone that committed tax fraud. I'm not talking about someone that got a DUI. I'm not talking about someone that committed manslaughter, although manslaughter is terrible, but it's, like an accident, basically. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about actual, like, murderers and shit. We don't need to pay our taxes and keep them in jail. Now, here's the other thing, though, I'm for. I am 100%. Now, the other thing, though, that I'm super, super against, I should say, that I'm against, is having people in prison, and then you sentence them to prison. I still think they should be treated like humans. I don't think you should be feeding them food that is deemed inedible, that's not for human consumption, because I know this for a fact. This is not an opinion. This is not an opinion. I know people that have been in prison, and they try to feed these prisoners food that's not for human consumption. Now, if you're going to send someone to prison and then you're going to be inhumane to them, I'm not saying they should be treated like they're at a spa. I'm not saying they should be living in the lap of luxury. I'm not saying they should be, having a lot of privileges and things. I'm saying, though, that giving them zero access to sunlight, which happened to a friend of mine, no sunlight for 5 years, and no breathing fresh air for 5 years, and eating inedible food with maggots in it, and they would play a game where they would try to guess what the food's supposed to be because you couldn't tell even what the food was, and then you couldn't even look out the windows. So not only did they have any air coming in, which is real fun in the summer, by the way. You get a bunch of sweaty, disgusting men in the summer with no air conditioning, no ways of opening windows, and then they also put this like filmy stuff over the windows so that you can't look outside. Now, again, I'm not saying that you should be nice to someone that has committed especially violent crimes, but I'm saying that they need to have access to some fresh air and some food that's edible. And I think that people should promote education more. They do promote it in some states, and promote counseling. I just, already the system's broken, because unfortunately by the time someone gets into prison, it's hard, because they probably needed access to counseling and medication or meditation or religion, or they're, maybe they come from a broken home, maybe they come from abuse. So then these create people that are addicts, or create people that have, that commit different kinds of crimes, because so many things could have gone differently in their life. Now, again, I'm not blaming parents, because you could be the best parent in the world. You could be a Christian family. I'm not saying that because you're Christian, you're better. Let me say this. You could be a religious family in which both of your parents were there for you. They're not divorced. They're both there for you. You went on vacations. You come from a middle-class home and everything's hunky-dory, and your parents had consequences for your behavior, but they also supported you. You could have all the things and still turn out to be a serial killer or a rapist or whatever. Or the reverse can be true. You could have the worst parents in all of history and the worst life, and you could be the best human in the world. So I'm not blaming parents or anything. I'm just saying so many things happen before a person gets put in prison, or before someone is an addict. And I wish that everybody had access to mental health care. And I wish it were promoted for people to stay together and not divorce so easily, to try to work on their marriage. No, a lot of people do try. A lot of people try real hard. And I'm not speaking to people that maybe are in abusive, toxic relationships. But I'm talking to people that seem to marry quickly and divorce quickly without even trying, without putting effort into it. And that right there is going to affect kids. So many things affect each and every one of us. And we're all different. So we're all going to, I hate it when people are like, I would never do that. I've talked about this in many episodes. When someone says never, it grades on my nerves. I've said it before too, because we don't know what we're going to do or what we would do if we were in that person's shoes, living their life. We don't know what their life was. We don't know what their struggles were. And I hate to say this, but even schmedos, a lot of times schmedos become those because they themselves were abused. They come from being sexually abused themselves, and so they in turn sexually abuse. Now, I'm not giving that as an excuse. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not siding with that. I'm saying, though, it's sad, because when you know nothing else, when that's all you know are people touching you inappropriately and them telling you that's okay and normal, and they normalize that, you're going to think it's normal. So those things are sad because not every schmedo was a bad person. They turned into someone that did bad things because unfortunately a lot of them had bad things done to them. Again, not making excuses, so I don't need people going, oh, so you're a Republican, so you're supporting that? No, I'm not. I'm not supporting it. I'm just saying that we all have things that have happened to us and things we have gone through that have shaped who we are. And that doesn't give us an excuse to treat others terribly or to abuse others or to, take our bad lives out on others. That's not okay. But a lot of us don't stop and think, wow, I wonder what this person has gone through to have them behave this way. I try to do that a lot, and I've talked about this on multiple episodes, that I come from a photography background, and so angles and point of view and perspective is a big thing for me. I also come from an abusive background, so I'm always trying to figure out what makes people tick, why they behave the way they do. That doesn't always mean I'm tolerant, doesn't always mean I'm patient. And I'm certainly not going to make excuses and forgive people that have done terrible things. I'm just saying we do need to stop and think. We can't just say, oh, I would never. Because how do we know unless we've been in that situation? Anyway, something I was thinking of because, man, on my social media, on my TikTok in particular, YouTube has shadow banned me. I'm lucky if I get one view. I'm very lucky if I get one view. Same with Instagram. Incredibly lucky if I get one single view, no matter what I do. I will post the most happy, positive things, uplifting, supportive things, and no, it's ridiculous. I'm being censored, and we've got people complaining about algae. My actual constitutional rights are actively being taken from me. And people are like, there's algae. There's algae. What does your house look like? How he spent so much money. Because it's the capital of the United States, and it's where people from all over the world come. And if we look like a shithole, people aren't going to respect us, and they're not really going to take what we have to say seriously. Our capital of each state and of our country should look respectable. It should look dignified, and it should look like we're proud. Because if we're not proud of our own country or our own state, other people coming here are going to know it. So what you guys are in support of, though, is spending millions and millions of dollars on transgender goldfish studies in Ghana or wherever the hell it was. That was a for real thing. They were doing studies, like transgender studies over in Africa. Why are we spending, and on goldfish in other countries? So you're cool with that. We're cool with spending millions and millions and millions of dollars on absolute bullshit, made up, I think, money laundering. Of course, I can't prove it and I can't say it without getting in trouble, but I think it's all a money laundering scheme. That's my opinion. And they're funneling that just like a lot of political people do. They make up BS stuff so that they can have money. And nobody has a problem with that. But we're going to have a problem with the algae. We're going to have a problem with Trump wanting to clean up cities and clean up our capital. And they're going to have a problem with him wanting to put a ballroom where we can have, again, where we have dignitaries. We have people that lead other countries coming in, and we have no place to put them, and it's embarrassing. And many, many, many other presidents have bulldozed stuff, remodeled stuff. In fact, there's really nothing left of the White House that's original. It's like don't quote me on this, but there's hardly anything left of the White House that's original. No one gives a shit if Biden or Obama or any Democrat did literally the exact same things that Trump is doing. They would all praise him. Because remember, this proves it. This proves it. Hillary Clinton was like, you better speak English if you come to the United States. She went on and on about how you better speak English and know the English language if you come into the United States, and you better be a documented legal citizen. And if you're not a documented legal citizen, you better get the fuck out. You better get out. We're not going to let you in. Biden was the same way, and Bill Clinton was the same way. I mean, not Biden. Obama. Obama was the same way. He was 100,000% pro, gung-ho, super, super down with deportation. Are you down with DPP? Are you down with deportation? Yeah, you know me. Yeah, they like to pretend and bury their head. Chuck Schumer, super, super pro illegal, not having illegal immigrants be allowed here. Hillary is like, get the fuck out, illegal immigrants. Obama, get the fuck out, illegal immigrants. Chuck Schumer, get the fuck out, illegal immigrants. And now all of a sudden, all the Democrats are burying their head and they forget that there's proof. Oh, that's scary, scary proof that people want to forget that it's a new day and age and we've got the internet and people can't hide anymore. People can't hide from the stupid shit they say, including myself, because it's out there. And you can delete things and you can try to delete things, but someone's always going to have a copy. Someone's always going to catch you. It's always going to be out there. So the dumb shit that you say will be on the internet forever. No matter how much you think you can get rid of it, it's going to be there. And the Democrats like to pretend that they didn't talk about maps, minor attracted persons, and they made a flag and they supported it. But I don't want to talk about Democrats and Republicans. I'm not trying to divide, because Republicans are idiots too. Politicians are fucking idiots. And most of the time, they want nothing whatsoever to do with anything at all but lining their own pockets, feeding their own power, feeding their own ego, whether they're Republican, independent, or a Democrat. Of course, I think Democrats can also be lying, hypocritical, corrupt, fraudulent pieces of garbage. Because again, humans are not perfect. Humans aren't perfect. I don't care what gender you are, what sex you align, what sexual orientation you are. What your sexual affiliation is, there we go, what your political affiliation is, what your gender is, if you're short or tall, what your race is. No matter who you are, what you believe, you're not perfect, which includes Republicans, which includes, Trump, everybody. It includes everybody. Welcome to being imperfect. And that's why I say we don't know what someone is going through. We have no clue what someone's lives what someone's been through. We don't know. So those are some things on my mind as people get on to my social media and they'll threaten my life. They will threaten my life, call me a racist, call me a Nazi, all the buzzwords. They got to use those buzzwords. After 10 years, not 10 months, not 10 months, not 10 days, not 10 hours, 10 years. Not 1 year, not 3 years, not 5 years, not 8 years, 10. 10 years of the same exact regurgitated words. Racist, fascist, Nazi, commie, transphobe. Come on, get a thesaurus so you can learn some different, words that mean the same thing, or get a dictionary to actually look up the definition of the words you're saying because you're not using them correctly, and it looks stupid, and it's embarrassing. It's incredibly, incredibly embarrassing when people call you things that, number one, they don't have any proof of, it's an opinion, and number two, they have nothing to back it up, and three, they are using the word wrong. They're using the word completely incorrectly, and then they think they had a gotcha moment. You don't have a gotcha moment when you're using a bunch of claims and accusations, or you're using words incorrectly and then changing the definition of a word. And then people making claims, they act like, well, I made a statement, so it's true. I called you a Nazi, so you're a Nazi. I called you fascist, so you're a fascist. And then when you're like, okay, So give me some examples of me being a fascist. Give me examples of things that I've said or done that make me a fascist. Nope, I said it. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me, Jesus. Excuse me, God. I did not know that you were the all-knowing, you say it, therefore it's true. I didn't know your word was gospel. How silly of me to think that you're just a human with an opinion. No, I didn't know that you were Jesus. I didn't know that you were the creator of all the world and all-knowing and know these things. Oh my God, I didn't know that because you made a statement that you cannot back up and refuse to back up, that just means I have to accept it. And well, now I have to hang my head in shame and go around wearing a sign on me that says I'm a Nazi because Joe Blow stranger over here called me a Nazi. So now I need to hang my head in shame and cry and, wear a dunce cap because Joe Schmo called me a Nazi. He has no proof and he has nothing whatsoever to back up that statement, but he said it. So what am I going to do? It's true. When certain groups of people say something, they think it's true, and it's hilarious to me because that makes you a narcissist or you have a God complex. You can state an opinion and let people know it's an opinion. That's different. But also, again, if you get onto my YouTube and my TikTok and you threaten my life because I have a difference of opinion or because of a claim that you made up that you don't even have any facts for, so you're making up something about me that you have no proof of whatsoever, and then you're deciding you want me to be dead so that I am no longer a grandma, I'm no longer a mom. You're taking me away from my grandkids, from my children, from my family and friends. You've decided that my life is meaningless because you disagree with me. And then you're claiming that you are these peaceful, wonderful people who, by the way, want all the Jews dead but are calling everybody else a Nazi. Make that make sense. You are the ones that were pro-October 7th, pro having children beheaded with garden hose, pro-Hamas getting on GoPros, recording it all. You were on their team, stuck up for them, which means you are pro children and babies getting beheaded. You're for that because you stuck up for Hamas doing it. You made a bunch of excuses for them doing it. You made parades and celebrated it, but you're calling me a Nazi. And you're calling me a bad person when you're threatening my life and wanting to take me away and off this earth because you disagree with me. I didn't threaten your family. I didn't try to unalive your family. I didn't do anything to you whatsoever. I made a video that you didn't have to watch. You did not have to watch my video. You chose to do it. There was no forcing like vaccines. No, there was none of that like Obamacare. No, there was none of that. Like the National Guard keeping us inside and wearing masks. There was no forcing. Like Biden showering with his daughter. There was no forcing. Like Biden constantly getting it on with his daughter and showering. There's no forcing. Like Biden having kids play with the hair on his legs. None of that was happening. But all of that did happen, and you decided that I was the target, not the people going around diddling kids, not the people unaliving others, not the people that assassinated Charlie Kirk because of a difference of opinion. No. They're all okay. Not all the men going into women's bathrooms and exposing themselves. No, that's all okay. But me having an opinion and you making a claim that isn't even using the correct word and it's just your opinion, and you could scroll past, you don't have to listen to my podcast, you don't have to get on my social media, you chose to, but you want me unalive because you disagree with me and I'm a bad person. Let that sit. This is what our world has come to. People that go around assassinating others, censoring others, firing others, taking away constitutional rights, taking away the safety of others, being pro-beheading of children, pro-diddling of children, pro-mutilation of children, pro-aborting children, pro-divorce, pro all of these things, but I'm a bad person. Because I said that I want our borders secure and I don't want people running around that don't live here, that have a violent past, that have been in jail before. I don't want them running the streets unaliving people like they have been. It's not like it's not happening. It is happening. It has happened, and I don't want it to continue. So I want the safety of American citizens, and I want the safety of women and children, but I'm a bad guy. I want the safety of animals and not have them tested in Fauci's lab. And instead, I want Fauci to be in the lab testing his own products that he claims are okay, but I'm a bad guy. I help people every day, and I get up every day and work my ass off, and I pay my taxes and I pay my bills without the help of anybody. I don't get free anything. And I work my butt off and I show up on time, but I'm a bad guy. Got it. It's so stupid. And it's weird that people think that I'm going to care what a stranger thinks of me. That's a bizarre concept. Because, again, there are certain groups of people that live for followers, but then call MAGA a cult. They followed having the National Guard keep them inside and went along with Biden forcing vaccinations, but we're the bad guys that force things and taking away constitutional rights. Even though you censor everybody, dox everybody, take away their constitutional rights, fire people anytime they say something you don't like, but your rights are being taken away and Trump is a dictator. And yeah, do you see what I'm saying? Like, you have to use brain cells. If you don't have brain cells, you shouldn't really be trying to make comments that require having brain cells. You know what I mean? Don't try to talk about things that you're not educated on. I try not to talk about things that I'm not educated on because I don't want to look like an idiot. I don't know why people are so comfortable looking like idiots and then being proud of that. They're like, let's celebrate. Let's do a whole video of us being so uneducated and making a bunch of completely irrational statements that everybody can back up and show are false, that we can prove are wrong. But I'm still going to get on here and I'm going to make a bunch of videos that are misleading, misinformation, complete claims and accusations. And then I'm going to be proud of myself for also talking about unaliving others because they disagree with me, talking about censoring or bullying or harming others because they disagree. And I'm going to be proud of that. Yeah, I'm a bad, intolerant person that does not accept anybody. I'm proud of that. And I'm going to make videos about being an intolerant, hateful bastard. And I'm going to be proud of it. Yeah. Good for you. Good for you for showing just how idiotic you are and being proud of that. I mean, good for you. If you want to embrace your hatred and you want to embrace you being intolerant and not being accepting and not being peaceful, you want to embrace the fact that you are trying to take away people's rights and you want to unalive people you don't like. If you think all of those things are appropriate and okay, and then you're going to call me a Nazi, you're going to call me a racist. Do you see what I'm saying? And then when I point these things out to people, they just post memes about my teeth, as if that's original or I care. Again, if you have a problem with my teeth, I implore you, start a GoFundMe. Because I'm too busy paying for everybody else's free health care, and everybody else can get their teeth fixed, and Karen Bass is fixing all of the meth heads' teeth, so people that are actually working can't get their teeth fixed, because I'm paying for everybody that's not working to get their teeth fixed. So I'm telling you, if you hate my teeth, which I do, I hate my teeth, and I agree, they're horrible, they're yellow, they're out of, they're crooked, all of those things, because I can't afford dental. So if you would start a GoFundMe so I can get my teeth fixed, do it. But you making comments on my social media just makes me laugh and makes you look dumb and hurtful. Well, not hurtful because it doesn't hurt me. Hateful, I should say. Just like when I do it. Again, I'm always including myself in this because I'm not righteous and I don't think I'm perfect and I'm not a hypocrite. So because I'm not a hypocrite and I do walk the walk and I talk the talk, I admit when I'm being a hypocrite. I admit when I have been a bitch. I admit when I have been hateful and intolerant. I say it, I admit it, I accept it, and I apologize, and I mean it. Because again, I don't say sorry unless I mean it. These are why I haven't been doing political posts lately. I get too fired up. WNBA, people are freaking out because Royce, whatever his name is, Royce White or something, decided he was also going to put his name out there for the WNBA. And people are like, that's terrible. How dare they? Really? Really? How dare they? Because they're proving a point that the WNBA absolutely needs to define what a woman is. They need to make guidelines on who exactly is allowed in the WNBA. And if they're not going to do that, this is going to happen. And they purposely didn't do it. They didn't do it because they wanted to look cool. They wanted to look hip. They wanted to be part of the cool kids club. And the cool kids club doesn't define a woman. Yet they say they have gender affirming surgery. And they say that I feel like a woman and I identify as a woman, but they can't identify what a woman is, and they don't believe in genders. Do you see again how yet again that does not add up? The two don't go together. You can't scream loudly, there's no such thing as genders. There are no genders. It's whatever you feel like. Whatever you feel like is what you are. But there's not a man and a woman. There's just whatever. It's just whatever. Just whatever. No, you can't even define that. But then you'll turn around and say you feel like a woman, and you'll dress like what you say a woman dresses like. And you'll have gender affirming surgeries. And like I said, you'll call yourself a woman. You say, I identify as a woman, while you're screaming that there aren't genders and you can't define a woman. And it's weird. And it's weird that we are promoting mutilating children. Because those children that have been mutilated are detransitioning now. And they're speaking out about how absolutely 100% the parents and the doctors and the counselors that all promoted this and encouraged their minor children to do such a gigantic, life-altering, irreversible thing that ruins them. You should all be in jail. You should all be part of Fauci's lab. Now, some of the parents I give a little grace to, because some of the parents are absolutely told they'll basically go to jail. They will, they get their lives threatened, and the world threatens them, and if they don't transition their child. Now, I do think the parents should be stronger than that, because you are there to protect your child, and it doesn't really matter what the outside world. If there's a bullet can kill you, but you still protect your child from it. So I don't think there's an excuse for you to take your child. People can try to force you, but they can't. And if they try to force you to go to jail, then I'd be like, all right, take me to jail, because I don't think there's a court. There are courts actually that have put parents in prison for that, I guess. So I understand, but you know what? If it still means if my going to prison meant that my child didn't get cut up, well, I would sacrifice that for my child. I would sacrifice that for the life of my child. So shame on those that didn't, and I think they should be part of Fauci's lab, because again, they think it's okay to mutilate. They chose, they supported, they encouraged their minor, undeveloped child who can't even drive a car or vote or smoke cigarettes or get into the military or get a tattoo or form opinions, because they're not fully formed. Fact. They're not fully formed. Fact, not opinion, fact. But you're saying, let's mutilate them. Let's give them irreversible damage. You deserve to be in Fauci's lab. You mutilated and ruined your minor child's life, all because you got peer pressured and you wanted to be part of the cool club. You chose to completely irreversibly ruin your child's life, put them through hell. Because if you do the statistics, they're still suicidal. Transitioned people are still suicidal. In fact, it's worse. So you've done nothing. So you all deserve Fauci's lab. Now, again, I'm not wishing anything upon them that they didn't wish on their own children. So I'm not promoting violence. I'm promoting what they promoted for their child. Maybe they should be mutilated against their will. Maybe we should mutilate them the way that they promoted and encouraged and supported their child being mutilated. That's not promoting violence. That's promoting and encouraging their beliefs. They think it's okay. And they think that if other people disagree with that, they're the bad guys. So that would mean that you're okay with you mutilating your body and you shouldn't have a problem with it. And you can't think that I'm psychotic and you can't go, oh my God, she's saying horrible things. No, I'm not. I'm saying what you're saying. You're saying take this beautiful child and instead of talking to them and encouraging them to love themselves and to love the body that they have, instead of promoting them to love themselves, respect themselves, instead of promoting them to talk to a counselor, a psychiatrist, instead of promoting them simply to wear quote, quote, boys' clothes or do quote, quote, boys' things, no, you encourage them to just simply go to lop off body parts and inject themselves with a bunch of crap. That's what you go to. You jump to this gigantic extreme. Instead of loving your child, instead of encouraging your child to love themselves, instead of you loving them, instead of you accepting them, so you're promoting the opposite of acceptance while trying to claim that other people aren't being accepting. You're not accepting your child. You're not accepting their child as who they were born with. These are the same people that promoted that couple that found out they were going to have a baby that was Down syndrome and decided to abort the baby. You guys are like, oh, we should love everybody. We should love everybody, unless you're Down syndrome, unless you're handicapped, unless you were born a man but you think you're a woman, unless you're a woman that's born a man, then you shouldn't accept the body that you came in. You shouldn't love yourself if you're these things. If you're a Trump supporter, you shouldn't love yourself. If you like Charlie Kirk, you shouldn't love yourself. If you disagree with me, you shouldn't love yourself and you should die. Every single thing with certain groups of people is die, death, mutilate, abort. Die, death, mutilate, abort. Censor, and then they all talk about how peace-loving they are. It's bizarre. You're gross. You're disgusting, vile people. Now, I'm not saying Democrats, I'm not saying liberals, I'm saying groups of people. Groups of people. Whether you're liberal, Democrat, independent, Republican, whoever believes in this crap, no matter what your political party is, no matter what your race is, no matter what your age is, you're disgusting, shameful, gross people. Because you're teaching your children to hate themselves and mutilate their bodies, hate themselves so much that they should mutilate their bodies instead of teaching them to love themselves, instead of teaching them and encouraging them to accept who they are and wear what they want and be in whatever sports they want. You don't have to mutilate your body to wear different clothes. Why are they going to that extreme? You don't need to mutilate your body to wear clothing. You don't need to mutilate your body to wear makeup. Or if you're a woman and a man, you don't need to mutilate your bodies, no matter what gender you are, to wear whatever clothes you want. So the people that are encouraging that are gross. You're gross, and you deserve to be in Fauci's lap. Again, I don't think that's being violent because you're encouraging and promoting people to mutilate themselves. So I'm saying since you think that's okay and you're on board with it, then why don't we do that to you as punishment? Because you should be held accountable for what you are doing to these minor children. In the same way that if they're being schmexually assaulted, schmexually abused, if children are being, essayed, they should absolutely, the people that did that to them should go to jail, right? Don't you think that schmeados should go to jail because they did something to a minor? If you grape someone, do you think they should go to jail? Yeah, I do anyway. So I think that if you mutilate a child who's not developed and can't make these decisions, and we don't allow them to make other decisions that are far less than that, and you're on board with it, I think that you have mental issues. I think you're disgusting and vile, and you should be held accountable. That's my opinion. I'm not saying someone's disgusting and vile for having a difference of opinion. You can believe in transgender. You can believe in the sex change, the gender affirming surgery. But if you actually acted it out, if you actually did that to your child, I have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with people of different religions. Believe in whatever religion you want. But I do have a problem with religions that believe in the death of others if they don't comply with them. I have a problem with any group of people that think that if other people have a difference of opinion, you should annihilate them in some way. You should mutilate them or unalive them or censor them. I have a problem with that. And I'm not saying those people should be unalived also. I'm saying that it's not okay. I think the people that should be part of Fauci's lab, or the people that should be put on death row, are the people, again, that are serial killers, and the people that, and Fauci, because Fauci to me is a serial killer. And I think that people that were, that mutilated their own children, sorry, I think you all deserve, and schmeados, you deserve, instead of, again, crowding up our prisons, let's just use you as lab monkeys. Because you all seem to think that everybody else is a test animal. You seem to like to use us as lab rats. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying if you think that about other people, that other people should be mutilated or unalived because if they have a different belief, or mutilated because they decided, because they think they like boy stuff or girl stuff, that means they should mutilate their bodies, or people should be forced to inject themselves with vaccines, and that animals should be tortured for vaccines, those kind of people need to be used as lab rats. I said it, I meant it, I'm not going back, I will never go back, I will always mean it, not apologizing. Tired of apologizing for things that I don't need to apologize for. If you don't like what I have to say, don't listen to my podcast, don't watch my social media. But I don't think I'm saying anything bad. I'm standing up for children. I'm standing up for children, and I don't want them mutilated. Why is that bad? It's not. It's not bad. I don't want to be called names that you are using incorrectly and that are also not true. That's not bad. I don't like people putting out misleading, false information. That's not okay. I don't like illegal immigrants coming into our country and getting benefits that hardworking people that live here aren't getting. That's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to want our borders secure and want our citizens secure and our children and our women secure and the men secure. It's not a bad thing that I believe in and support our veterans and our military. I don't know why people think that I deserve to die because of these things. It's weird. And listen to yourself. Listen to the hypocrisy. Listen to the evil that's spewing from your mouth before you sit there and say a word about me. It's vile. You're gross. You need to be told it. You don't need to be encouraged. You don't need to be supported. You don't need excuses. There's zero excuse for being a vile, disgusting, disturbing mental case that goes around promoting the assassination and unaliving of anyone that disagrees, and promoting people forcing vaccinations and keeping us in by the National Guard, using the National Guard to keep us inside, and promoting the mutilation of children. Those are not things I support. I don't support assassinating any person that we disagree with. This doesn't make me a vile person. It makes you a vile person if you agree with that, no matter what your political party is. Again, I'm saying this about everybody. Ugh. So these things are keeping me up. These things are very much keeping me up. It's exhausting. It's been 10 years. 10 years of just yap, 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 yap. And pew, 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 and burning and destroying and looting and vandalizing and lies and hypocrisy, violence, and just forcing and forcing. It's so exhausting, and you guys just continue. People continue to find anything and everything to be miserable about. My God, shut up. Shut up. Get a fucking hobby, get a clue, get a life, get a partner, get an animal. Well, I don't trust you guys with animals. You shouldn't have an animal. Have some sex, have some drugs, have some alcohol. Just kidding, I'm not going to promote that, especially if you're an alcoholic or a drug addict. But my point is, do something other than run your mouth, especially if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about and you're making shit up and you can't back it up. Just stop. You're the problem. You're the problem, and yet you act like you're some saint put down on this earth, and you think that you've helped the world because you've set things on fire. Really, what immigrant did you help by setting all the Teslas on fire? And the Tesla cars, you stupid people that talk about environmentalists. Yeah, burning cars is real good for the environment. And you were just supporting Tesla. See what I'm saying? Idiots. You don't burn down cars that have batteries and stuff and have that be good for an environment. And then claim that you're environmentalists. What have you done for the environment? What have you done for women? What have you done for illegal immigrants? Because burning things down doesn't help any of those things. Assassinating everybody helps no immigrants, helps no women, and it does not help the environment or the polar bears. You know what does? Educating yourself, going to city council meetings, trying to get bills passed, maybe helping out illegal immigrants fill out paperwork and study for the test. There's so many things you could do to actually help, but you choose to do none of them. You choose to just set shit on fire, call people names, and threaten people and go, yeah, I help people. Yeah, I'm accepting, loving, peaceful, educated. I love the world. I'm diverse, equality, but I'm going to set everything on fire that I hate. See what I'm saying? It's very common sense, and yet people are still like, nope, she's wrong. No, nothing I've said is wrong. And you can't prove it because I've asked and no one can. They just send me memes of my teeth, which again, please fix my teeth. I would love it. You know what I do love? I love that there are people from all over the world listening to my podcast. I love there are people from all over the world, all walks of life, listening to my podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it more than you know, more than I can say. It's awesome. It truly is. And if you would like to check out my YouTube and my Instagram, it could really, really use people because I've been shadow banned. So I hope everybody, and I encourage everybody to maybe check out my YouTube, my TikTok, and my Instagram, and my Facebook, and my Clapper. My Clapper's doing pretty well. My Facebook's okay. They don't really shadow ban me on Facebook, but they do on every other platform. So I would love it if you guys would like and subscribe to my YouTube and follow me on my social media. But thank you so much for listening to my podcast. I really appreciate it. I'm wishing everybody a fabulous day, night, evening, afternoon, whatever it is in your case. I encourage everybody to remember to control the things you can. Let go of the rest, myself included. I get fired up about a lot of things that I can't control. And then there are things I can control and I need to get involved in, like going to city council meetings, like trying to make a change. So if we can change them, if we can do something about it and control it, let's start with that. Let all the rest go. Remember to take a good deep breath, a couple of deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, because, man, we forget how important it is and how satisfying and helpful it is to just kind of stop for a moment and take a breath. Sometimes you just need to take a breath for a second to have everything kind of center itself again. To remember that we're alive. We're here. We're alive. Let's do something while we're here. Let's live this life. Let's stop hating everybody. Let's focus on ourselves, what we can control about us, what we can do about us, how we can be successful people, how we can be helpful people that make a difference, how we can be kind. Let's focus on us and not everybody else, because we're not perfect and we have our own imperfections that we need to work on. We don't need to focus on everybody else's imperfections, because that's just adding something else to the plate. And we can't control that anyway. So if you don't like me, one thing you can control is you don't have to listen to me. That is definitely a choice. I don't listen to people I don't like. You don't have to listen to me. I'm not forcing you to. I'm asking if you want to. If you want to, then please do. If you don't, you don't have to. So, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Until next time.